Okay, I'd like to bring this meeting to order. The Committee of the Whole of Village of Willow Park, January 9th, 2023. Clerk Kornacki, please call the roll.
Trustee Salella.
Here.
Trustee Corkery.
Here.
Trustee Kozar. Trustee Kumar. Trustee Murphy.
Here.
Trustee Patrick.
Here.
President Kazone.
Here. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so tonight, our discussion item is on a review of the boards and commissions. Mayor Harlan, you want to read that?
Sure. I sent a somewhat lengthy memo out in the packet on Friday. First thing I wanted to say is that this is a topic that I think a couple of the commissioners, or a couple of the trustees suggested we have. There isn't any crisis or thing that we have to take care of immediately, but there have been some miscommunications on a couple of activities, particularly the commissions that are doing programming themselves. So I went through a sort of a summary of all the commissions we have. We also have a couple that don't appear to be active, but are still codified. So the only thing that as a village manager I would like to do to change is to start sending staff to some of the commissions that we haven't been sending them to, and specifically environmental concerns, somebody from Public Works, senior citizens. Now, the Parks and Recreation Department already supports the SALT program, which is budgeted under the Senior Citizens Commission. So that is sort of already happening. Historical preservation, there's no staff going to that. I think community development is the most logical staff to attend those meetings. Community fund, Parks and Recreation, and then cable TV. City manager's office, eventually it would probably be Donnie Pisano, who's our communications specialist, essentially filling the role that most people think of as a public information officer. So that is I can go into more detail. One other thing, I know based on an email received today and also discussion previously, that the Cable TV Commission is looking at bringing forward some recommendations to change their focus, establish policies, and actually change their name. And if you think about it, what they do, a large portion of what they're programming they're setting out right now is online more than it is cable TV. It's also on cable TV, but and they, so that's something that they would like to look at. We also have one standing subcommittee that was created by and reports to the Environmental Concerns Commissions. That's the Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee. I think I got the name correct there. The authority to appoint subcommittees is specifically mentioned in the code for them, and I don't want to say it isn't in any other commission's code, the code that calls for it, but I didn't see it on a cursory look anywhere else. So they are a true subcommittee, and that all of the members are members of the larger commission. So, but that's one of the things I wanted to do in terms of working with our commissions. If there are other issues that the Board of Trustees would like to discuss or have questions, please, this is a great time to do it. And I don't know what else you guys wanted to do in terms of looking into this. There are several commissions that don't have liaisons to the Board of Trustees. And then the other thing is that if there's something larger that you guys want to look at holistically, you might consider making a subcommittee of trustees. Something we did when I was in the city council in Columbia, Missouri, 100 years ago. And they made a few changes, but mostly they, cleaned up some language. We increased the water and light board from 4 members to 5 members, but other than that, I can't remember a lot of huge changes taking place. These commissions are volunteers. They do a lot of good work. They give you a chance to get input and discussion on a variety of different issues where you can't be all places at once, and some of them have very specific legal requirements, as mentioned in the memo to a small degree, and they have a little bit. It's more important that those things are staffed and that we keep track of the minutes and everything, although all minutes are supposed to be recorded. There are some, like planning and zoning, where they have a very, their role is partially codified in the state law. So they have different levels of responsibility, but I'd like to see us provide staff support for pretty much all of the ones that are active. And that's all I got.
Okay, good. Thank you. 100 years, wow. Good for 100.
Well, I might be exaggerating a little bit. It was last century, though.
That's true. Okay, we can turn this over to the board. Trustee Solella.
In the areas where it's indicating no staff liaison, are we going to have some sort of attempt at filling that vacancy?
So that's so the ones where there isn't a staff liaison, that's what I was, in the memo, I was looking at putting somebody from Public Works to work with environmental concerns, Parks and Recreation with senior citizens, community development staff with historical preservation, Parks and Rec with community fun, and then the city manager's office with cable TV, which includes our communications specialist.
I saw that portion, but
Okay, which ones are you?
well, my question more is like, I believe back in the day, we wanted to have a board member acting as a liaison.
Yeah, that's a separate, yes. Then there's a column for trustee liaison, and several don't have one, although I don't know, fire and police, I don't know if you need a liaison there, but you're certainly, it's whatever you guys want in terms of that, signing a trustee liaison.
Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. First of all, I'm looking at the summary chart of the Villa Park Advisory Boards and Commissions, and I want to say thank you for putting this together. This is the most organized I have ever seen any information all in one spot pertaining to our commissions and advisory boards. It's very nice and organized. Just a couple of things, and then I'll hand it back over to you. First of all, I would like to see the village in the future have some sort of event or something that recognizes all of our commission members and advisory board members in the future. I believe in the past they used to have a dinner or a little party or something along those lines, and I think that is well deserved. Like you said earlier, a lot of these people are volunteers doing this on their own time, and put in a lot of hours on a lot of these as well. So I think being able to just publicly recognize them and give them an opportunity to celebrate being on our boards and commissions would be great. Second of all, I think there's some confusion out there that I think if the village could explain how an individual can go about becoming a member on an advisory board or commission, what the process is, what it entails from start to finish. Thank you.
So for somebody to come onto the commission, to join a commission?
Yeah, so people that are watching right now might be interested in joining some of these commissions, but have no idea on where to start or how to go about the process.
Sure. You can go online, and there's a form that you fill out that, and I don't know exactly where it's at on the website. Or you can call the office, call the manager's executive assistant, and you fill out, it's an easy form to fill out. You have to be a resident of Villa Park for over a year in incorporated Villa Park. So if you live in unincorporated Villa Park, the way our regulations are, you cannot join a commission. But you have to be living in Villa Park for a year. You fill it out and you email it, and it will go to myself and I believe the assistant, the executive assistant. And then we review it, make sure everything is good, and if it all looks good, then usually the next board meeting, we'll put them up for approval. So it's a very simple process.
And one last question, too, that there might be some confusion there. Or what is a board member or a trustee's role in being a liaison? Or are there any rules set forth or any direction that gives them any kind of authority or what their job with that position entails?
I don't believe there's anything really in writing on exactly what a liaison is there for, but it's always been communication back and forth between the board and the commission. If there's any questions that the commission has for the board, or if they have ideas that they'd like the board to discuss, say the fund commission wants to have, a World's Fair here or something, would the board be interested in doing that? So the liaison would bring that back to the board for discussion. And then flip side, if the commission has questions or the board has any questions for the commission, the liaison can bring that to the commission. Or if there's concerns, say the board says, we don't think that this is the direction we want them to go, and then, they can bring that to the commission for discussion. Is there something? Okay. Anything else?
Oh, no, I'm good, thank
Okay.
you.
Trustee Solel.
Yeah, I found as a liaison for traffic and safety, my job has mainly been to bring information to them and conversely bring information to the board. Kind of an open line of communication was the most of my activity, or is the most of my activity.
Okay. Trustee Kozar.
Maybe we want to set a rules for what a liaison does and doesn't do. I know early on when I was the liaison for planning and zoning, and you quickly remedied that because you didn't really want that communication. I'm speaking to you directly, Nick. So I think it's very subjective, and if you're going to have a liaison and you want communication, then I think we got to allow communication, or at least, have a set of what is expected or not expected of liaisons, not kind of make up the rules as we go, which has been what I've seen in terms of being a liaison.
Yeah, we could look at that, and definitely that's something that the village manager and I can discuss at our meetings and come up with something.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But I don't see, I don't see an exchange of information. I don't see reports coming back from any of the trustees as to what's been discussed in the various commissions. It's pretty silent. I just don't, at minimum, the trustees who are liaisons should report back to the board and say, we had a meeting and this is what was discussed in the meeting. But we've never really seen that except for very, very rarely certain instances.
Okay. Trustee Slow.
Right, Jack, and I think we've sort of addressed that. I brought that to Manager Harline's attention, and that's why we have included in the packet that we get prior to a meeting of what's been discussed and what's happening in each of these committees. I believe the first one was out the last packet.
In the last board meeting, is that what you're referring
Yes.
to?
Right, so I think that's being addressed currently to bring everyone up to speed in a hard copy and on your website there, so that you can follow along.
Yeah, I would agree. That last report that we had 2 weeks ago was really the most information that we've had, so we are definitely headed in the right direction if that continues.
So, and we'll have that on the second meeting every month. So the stuff from the boards and commissions. And then, but if they were proposing legislation, it might be useful to have a discussion with somebody who's that's on the board. But yeah, however you guys want to set up the way a trustee liaison works with the board and commission, that just absolutely your guys' call.
Trustee Patrick?
Just to add on to that as well, I think that we need to take a look at possibly the standards of being a commission member as well, because a lot of the volunteers that volunteer their time too do represent the village in their meetings that are open to the public, that might be asked a question or what have you. So I think that there needs to be some sort of standard that the village holds to commissioners as well, just moving forward.
Yeah, the commissioners are bound by the same rules as any employee of Villa Park or the board, any of the ethics rules at the board that are in our ordinances, they are, like you say, they're representing the village, so they basically have to run by the same rules as any employee. Whether we need to make up special rules, I don't know. I don't think so, but.
So then is the role of the village president solely responsible for those members being appointed and/or removed?
Usually that's designated within the code as to how those commission members are appointed, but it's primarily via state statute, an appointment of the village president with the advice and consent of the board.
Okay.
Yeah, which is why we always bring it up here, for a vote.
Okay.
To bring them on there, yeah. Okay. Anything else from the board? Okay, we will open it up for public comments. Could you might come up now.
And sign in.
Donna Noxon. I just want to say, as a commissioner, we are sworn to the same oath and standards as all trustees. And we also have to take any online courses in addition that staff, trustees, and everyone else in the village has to take. So we're bound by the oath.
Yeah, okay, great, thanks, Donna.
Bob Wagner, 114 West Monroe. I appreciated Trustee Patrick's remarks about an appreciation dinner, and I noticed that Manager Harline had included $5,000 for some sort of recognition event this year.
Yeah, I think that's also staff recognition.
Okay,
Yeah.
staff recognition. And for those of us who've been around a long time, there used to be a combined staff and commission dinner, dance, et cetera. Then it kind of became just a commission, and then it kind of went away. And I think the most recent appreciation event was held at Sugar Creek Golf Club. That was a couple of years ago. But I think that would be a great thing to show commission members that they're appreciated.
Okay. Thanks, Bob. Okay. I think that's our public comments. Need a motion for adjournment out of COW. Trustee Patrick?
President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Trustee Corkery?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will close our committee of the whole meeting, and we will re-adjourn 7 o'clock for our regular board meeting. Thank you.